busy at the exhibition. Welcome back. Welcome back. We continue this afternoon, but now we're going to demonstrate the added value of CLLD and all the four funding mechanisms. I mean, this session is going to show how there are very high levels of political support for what's happening. So it is already bottom-up. Support on the ground, self-evidently, but there is support in capitals and amongst politicians and many well-wishers for all that is happening. I suppose the real question is, however good it may be, can local action address some of the biggest challenges facing Europe? And we will be looking at that this afternoon. And I can reply to my own question in no better way than to just quote from the brochure, not more than a brochure, it's a magazine, which has got all the award nominees for today, when you'll be voting later on. And in the forward, Kimmo Tiilikainen, Finland's State Secretary and President of the EU Council, said the 40 projects selected in this magazine for the exhibition of the post-2020 conference are a testament to the diversity and creativity which can emerge when support is targeted at the right level, and also a testimony to how local communities can respond and adapt to a world in transition. And that is the whole theme of this afternoon. And to get us underway, I would like to welcome a man of many parts, Dacian Ciolos, who is head of the Renew Group in the European Parliament, former Romanian Prime Minister, former EU Agriculture Commissioner, and more important than any of that, of course, a former leader of a flag group. So, Mr. Ciolos, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much for this honor that I have to address to you today. I took some notes not to forget some main ideas and messages that I want to transmit to you. First of all, to tell you that my personal story with LEADER and CLLD and with this local action started more than 20 years ago. In 1997, when I had an internship in DG AGRI, and I worked in a directorate in charge with LEADER program. It was just at the beginning of the process, and the discussion inside of the directorate was how to improve, how to use the experience, the first experience of the first local action groups, and how to improve this instrument, this initiative, Commission initiative, very successful one already from the beginning, because you know that EU structural funds and agricultural funds were implemented by the governments, by national authorities. So for the local people, they were very happy that they can have a direct connection with the Commission at that time. And of course, this instrument was very interesting also for candidate countries at that time, the Eastern European countries, interested on how to develop this local level action after the communist era with a very centralized system. So my first contact was in '97, and I understood how important is this kind of instruments for rural area, to find ways to support directly small projects at a local level. But not only small projects at local level, but also multi-stakeholders projects also. Pushing, in fact, local authorities to work together with NGOs, with private sector also. Then later in 2005, 2008, I worked in the Ministry of Agriculture in Romania. It was just the period of preparation of accession of Romania to European Union. And together with some other colleagues, and some of them are here in the room, we prepared Romania to implement for the first time this European instrument at local level. And as I anticipated, it was a very well received and very successful implementation, because we gave the power to act and the financial resources to the people locally, the people who otherwise maybe they were not in contact with European funds. In 2007-2008, I was Minister of Agriculture for a short period of time, and I tried to support and to spread, to develop these instruments in Romania. But later in 2010 and 2014, as European Commissioner for Agriculture, I had the opportunity, together with other colleagues, commissioners for regional development, was Johannes Hahn, Laszlo Andor from European Social Funds, and Maria Damanaki from Fishery. We decided to put together, or to spread, to use this instrument specific for rural development and then for fishery, to extend this to all other instruments, because as you certainly experienced at local level, it's very difficult at local level every time to have a very selective approach and to reject some project because this is not enough integrated in a sectoral vision that we had from European level. So in this way we developed this concept of CLLD based on leader experience in the rural area and also in fishery sector. And I'm now very happy to see the success that this concept knew at the European level, and I have the courage now to say that, on my opinion, this CLLD approach at local level is such a successful project as Erasmus, and such a popular project like Erasmus was for the students. So I think for local communities in European Union, the CLLD is like Erasmus for students. I am sure that we have to build based on this experience, because this kind of instrument is important not only in order to do local development using European funds. But in my opinion, this kind of experience and instrument is important in order to develop democracy in Europe and local democracy in Europe, because we have a strong lack of democracy in Europe. People and simple citizens, they don't feel that they are connected to what's happened at European level in Brussels, and on all these European policies is too abstract for them. And this kind of instrument involving the people at local level with small projects put Europe in connection with people. And I think that we have, at political level in European Union, we have to have more courage to delegate responsibilities to the people. Because this kind of instruments would be more efficient, less bureaucratic, more effective, also, and more adapted to the needs and the realities at local level that we can see here in Brussels, in the European Commission, or I don't know, in the Parliament. Even the best experts in all the fields cannot think in a better way than the people locally can do, if we have this courage to delegate them responsibility. So this kind of instrument, it's important not only economically and not only socially, but also for the democracy and for the local democracy in Europe. But for that we have to keep it simple, very accessible for the people, and this instrument has to be simple and accessible and less bureaucratic for the people, not for administration. Because when we talk about reducing bureaucracy, sometimes we think how to reduce bureaucracy for administration, for national administration or local administration. But we have to find the ways to do this simple for the people and for the direct beneficiary. So local action group have to remain a reference and have to be a reference for all European development, for investment, for innovation, for education projects. And we have to find a way in the next budgetary period to develop this instrument and to enlarge the area of coverage of the projects. And I will use my, let's say, influence in the Parliament and in the relation with the Commission in order to promote these kinds of instruments as one of the main instruments for us to promote democracy, European democracy at local level. And since we started to discuss about the organization of a conference for the future of Europe, trying to find ways and instruments to improve democracy at European level, I think this kind of experience, your experience, could be a very good instrument about how to improve and develop democracy at local level in a very concrete way. In Eastern European part of the Union, this instrument, in my opinion, is even more important in order to develop democracy and also to give to European Union a more human face. Because in the perception of some people in Eastern countries, the negotiating period for accession gave to the people the impression that European Union is bureaucracy, rules, standards, and this kind of instrument prove that European Union can do some things. So my hopes and my target also is to keep this kind of instruments in the main toolbox of European Union action at local level, not only financially but also in relation with the people. And now we have to adapt, and in this direction your experience will be fundamental to adapt this kind of instruments to the new priorities at European level. And you see that the political agenda of European Union in the next years will be dominated by Green Deal and by digital transformation. And I am sure that with this approach to modernize our economy and to do our economy more green and to use also new technologies and digital technologies in order to improve the competitiveness of our economy, but also to develop our society, I am sure that your experience will be very useful in that direction, and I hope that the debate organized today, and we want to congratulate the organizers for this event. I think that this experience will be very useful, and then our colleagues from the European Commission will use your experience in the elaboration of the framework of action of European Union for the next years. I think that the main challenge for European Commission and for European Union institutions at large is to do this, to develop this kind of instruments in a holistic way and not a sectoral, and not a too much sectoral way, in order to be adapted for what you need at local level and in order to have this more effective. So congratulations for what you did. I am happy to be still on board in this project, and you can be sure that you will have a strong supporter and several strong supporters in European Parliament for this kind of democratic way to develop Europe and to transmit Europe at local level. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you very much indeed, Mr. Cholos, for encouraging words, which reflected some of the words we had on the word wall before lunch. In a moment, I'll address the people sitting up here and why they're up here. But before we do that, I'd like to show you something which will reinforce your belief in the value of the CLLD projects, we have a fairly short but gripping video to show you. Is that ready to roll, please?
Climate change, inequality, globalization are big challenges facing us all. But action on a smaller scale can make a real difference. The European Union is supporting citizens to mobilize skills and resources for community-led local development. Partnerships between ordinary people, civic groups and public bodies, called local action groups, are boosting local businesses, preserving heritage and creating new services to revitalize communities. Local action groups put local people in the driving seat, devising strategies to meet the most pressing economic, social or environmental needs in their areas. A special budget and staff help turn ideas into projects. There are over 3,000 local action groups in urban, rural and coastal areas throughout Europe. Just one of the ways the EU is empowering local communities.
Quand je suis arrivée ici, suite à une séparation, la maison était délabrée, l'isolation était mal faite et moi, toute seule, j'avais pas les moyens de m'en sortir. L'assistante sociale est venue me voir, elle m'a donné un bout de papier en fait, et sur lequel était marqué Énerter avec le contact pour des maisons écolo et tout. Donc, les membres de l'association sont venus et c'est en ce moment en fait que vous réalisez que c'est vrai et que vous allez avancer, que votre maison va prendre forme en fait. C'est un chantier participatif et donc tous les membres de l'association se manifestent, du moins ceux qui veulent participer. Et les enfants, ils ont participé aussi aux travaux de leur maison. L'aide que j'ai reçue m'a fait sortir de chez moi. Je suis allée travailler et puis j'ai eu d'autres projets et ça m'a reboosté en fait.
Když nám byly 3 měsíce, tak máma utekla a babička se o nás starala s dědou a když nám bylo nějakých 12 let, tak jsme začali dělat problémy a přesunuli nás do dětského domova, teď už tam jsem nějakých 5 let a sestra skončila na drogách. Rozhodl jsem se studovat automechanika a díky tomuhle projektu, který spolupracuje s dětským domovem, tak jsem se dostal na tohleto místo, kde mi ukázali, jak to chodí v takovéhle společnosti. Naučili mě tady hodně jako o tom celém chodu. Hodně lidí nabídlo takový nějaký zázemí pro nás a můžu se v případě potíží na kohokoliv obrátit a vím, že ten člověk mi pomůže. Ten projekt je zkrátka přínosný v tom, že všem, co se ho zúčastní, tak ukáže lepší životní vyhlídky. Celkově je to takový lepší pro nás, který nemáme takové možnosti, jako mají třeba ostatní děti z rodiny.
Jag bor i Falkenberg och jag är född och uppväxt här i Falkenberg. Jag har ju alltid älskat barbecue. Vi röker ju kött från 8 till 25 timmar. Och det är det som gör att man är lite unik. Jag startade ju Smoking Aces i väldigt liten skala. Och tack vare Falkenbergs matdagarna så har det ju växt år efter år efter år. Matdagarna startade genom några lokala matentreprenörer som ville ha en matfestival. Och då gick de till kommunen och så ansökte de om EU-finansierat bidrag. Då. Falkenbergs matdagar har ju satt Falkenberg på matkartan som en destination för att komma och äta. Inte bara under matdagarna men året om. Och det gör ju att allting blomstrar, både festivalen, mitt företag. Det är helt fantastiskt.
Soy mariscadora desde hace 32 años. Toda mi familia fueron marineros. mis abuelos, mis padres, mis hermanos, mis tíos, yo. Cuando empezamos el marisqueo, entonces no se ganaba, entonces era un trabajo que hacían las mujeres como un complemento de lo que ganaban los maridos, y la profesión no estaba valorada. Gracias al proyecto que hicimos con el GAL, nos dimos a conocer, hicimos unos libros de recetas, trajimos a casi todos los niños de la comarca a enseñarles lo que era nuestro trabajo y hacerle también una degustación del berberecho. Y hoy por hoy es un trabajo valorado. Antes a lo mejor te daba algo de decir que eras mariscadora y hoy lo dices orgullosa de que es un trabajo complicado, pero también es un trabajo muy bonito.
Oh, well, I think that was pretty clear evidence in a very real, personal and understandable way of what can be enabled, what we like to call bottom-up, but it doesn't sound like it adequately describes what's been going on. That was, you saw Julia, Jean, Martin and Christian being helped there, and I hesitated to introduce the platform people till now because some of the members on the platform are the very people in that film who were helping and enabling through local flags on the ground, lags and flags on the ground, to bring that about. And it's just a small sample, of course, of what goes on. So what we're going to do now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to take a back seat and hand over to three very, I'm sure, competent interviewers. Mr. Cholos, first of all, and also Christel Astrom, who's Secretary General of the Finnish Rural Policy Council. And as part of that rural policy, she is a chair of a CLLD working group at national level in Finland. And thirdly, Radim Sershin, who's CLLD rapporteur for the Committee of the Regions, is here. And I'm in a way going to hand over to the three of them to ask some questions of our four special guests who were, as I say, almost literally hands-on, directly involved in that. Guillermo Gonzalez from Costa del Morte flag in Spain, Frederic Duby, NRT Association in France, Christian Sigurdarsson, Destination Falkenberg in Sweden, and Daniela Rechlova. Is that good? Thank you, Daniela. And I certainly can't pronounce the LAG, the local action group she's with, in the Czech Republic. So may I, with humility, pass over to you, perhaps Christel first, to raise whatever questions and give us some thoughts about what you take from that film.
Okay, thank you. Everybody can hear. First of all, I want to thank the video stars here in the front row, because it was very inspirational, these videos, and certainly showed how diverse the CLLD project can be. And I was asked to reflect on one of the videos, and I took my neighbor here, the Falkenberg Food Festival. And that's, I was thinking that maybe it's quite typical project of today, when people don't want to be involved long time in organizations, but they want to make something happen. And we are, at least in Finland, talking about the fourth sector, and they want to make events. And I do think that CLLD is a very good opportunity to get to know and get involved in these kind of projects and how you can change a community. And I also think that I might be wrong, but that this project could be very good in making this urban-rural interaction, which we are talking very much of right now in Europe, because maybe some of the enterprises came from the rural area, or some of the food came from the rural area around, and that's quite a good way to get involved. But to the questions, because we had to interview you. So tell us about this project, how it got started, and how the LAG grant helped you to do this.
Yeah, well, Falkenberg has a rather long history of food producers, everything from farmers to fancy restaurants. But we wanted to do something together, a food festival. But we were in the need of coordinating the different entrepreneurs, and we needed to have like a unified brand. So we applied for grant in order to get a project manager to coordinate the different entrepreneurs. So that we were able to put through the Falkenberg Food Festival due to the LAG grant. And the way of thinking behind it actually is that we call it event-based development because everybody's talking about that people should work together, but it's really hard to start working together. So the food festival was kind of a safe environment to try working together. And what I self find is really interesting result of the festival is the festival is only 2 days, but what's left behind after the festival is actually the connection between companies, entrepreneurs, municipality, and so on. So that's where the that's where the cool thing happens. The event is just 2 days, but the interconnection between people afterwards.
Christel, no more questions?
I have a couple more. But then again, if you, I think you mentioned it a little bit, but can you tell more what this festival has brought to your area in all? You're talking about that the festival is 2 days, but after that, what has it brought to you?
One of the part is that it helps profiling Falkenberg as a destination, helping the tourism industry. But maybe the more important thing is that it enables and inspires entrepreneurs within the food industry to that it's safe to start, although in a small level, and you're able to grow your business. So I think we started with about 12 or 13 entrepreneurs, and this year we are about 54, I think. And we do see an increase in turnover. We do see more companies getting started, and we see a lot of very, very, very interesting cooperations happening. Like this year we were having, we call it the Battle of the Chefs, different chefs battling on stage. But what was really interesting is that we are having high-class chefs in one team, and then we're having the chefs cooking for the schools in the other team on the same stage at the same time, hiring the, the level of work of doing food in for schools. So we're seeing really interesting cooperations. The local bakeries are delivering bread to the local hotels. A lot of interesting cooperations happening after the event as well.
Okay, so it's certainly I will come and visit you someday. I think I like this thing. But is it so that I heard actually that you have got some awards also. You have been quite successful with this food event. Is it so?
Yeah. Well, it's kind of difficult. My bosses were asking me, how do we measure success? How do you measure success of cooperation? And that's really, really difficult. But we were really happy last year. There is something called the White Guide, which is a guide for restaurants in Sweden or in the Nordics. And normally they only give different recognitions to restaurants because it's a restaurant guide. But 2018, the entire municipality of Falkenberg got the award of being worth traveling to. And I don't think that that has happened before, that an entire municipality got that award instead of just a single restaurant. And what made me especially proud was that in the description of why Falkenberg got that award was because of the cooperation between different entrepreneurs. You could go into a restaurant and they would have chairs or tables from another restaurant because they were missing, they were in need of that, or you could lend employees between each other. So yeah, cooperation has made it.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Radim, your turn to be inquisitor.
Okay, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's a great pleasure for me to sit here at this event. It's quite unusual for me because I'm usually sitting on the other side. This time being here as a representative of the European Committee of Regions, but my heart is beating for LEADER. I grown up in LEADER many years as a LAC manager, then as a LAC chairman, LR president. So my position now is more to be agent of CLLD and of local action groups in the Committee of Regions. It's nice to see so many well-known faces. We are like a LEADER family. Last week meeting in Portugal, 3 weeks ago in Spain. I see some of you more often than my wife, I always say. But this is our LEADER family, and I totally agree with Mr. Cialos that for me Erasmus and LEADER are the best two ideas which came up from the European integration process and the programs which really work. And they work not just in the European Union, but already outside the borders. My friend Petri, who is sitting there, he believes to bring local democracy also in China. So I'm just wondering if this is right. But I am working in Georgia and Bosnia and Herzegovina, and it really works. And when I was watching those videos, I saw so-called leader spirit out of those videos, not just of those 4 projects. I've seen many other projects which are exhibited here, like innovative use of algae in Latvia. Of course, I like social enterprise project Dobroty from the Czech Republic. And when someone asks me, the members of parliament, ministers, and anyone else, why leader? It's not cost effective, you know. So I always say, yeah, but the project has a leader spirit. It's very difficult to explain what the leader spirit is, but you can see it from the videos, and I think it's very important. In this moment, we are sometimes experiencing kind of loss of legitimacy of the European Union, rise of Euroscepticism, rise of nationalism, and I think to bring Europe to citizens is very important. It's not just cliché, and I think LEADER is a very good tool how to bring Europe to citizens, how to fulfill European goals by the local means. And if I go back to the projects, actually it's funny because 2 of them I know very well. I was in Falkenberg 1 month ago eating true Italian pizza in Sweden. When first Marion sent us that we will have pizza in Sweden, we said, oh, pizza in Sweden. But then we saw that it's Swedish pizza. It's like this European idea, unity in diversity. So I experienced that. So I've heard a lot about the project. I hope to come for the food festival next time. And of course, the project O krok napřed, or One Step Ahead, it's my most favorite leader project in the world. I am, except of a brewery and distillery in our local action group. I am always presenting this project everywhere in the world I go, because it's a really excellent example why we should use multi-fund CLLD, because we can combine different funds. We can combine, I feel that ESF is a very important component of this CLLD mosaic, because we can combine investments, non-investments, we can combine different ideas, different approaches, and that's the role of CLLD, that it should be kind of mosaic which is putting together like a puzzle. And I think that this project is an amazing example because it combines finally all the funds together. And I think that I see Christian here, that it's very nice how a leader can change the lives of people. So and I will ask also concerning this project. So when did the project start, and how many children are involved in the project, and also what's the kind of outcome for the community in general. And also, okay, then I will ask the other questions.
Good afternoon. Now I forgot the question.
When did the project start? How many children are included in this project? And what was the importance for the community?
Thank you. So this project started in February 2018, and it lasted only 18 months and finished this summer, August 2019. But the children's home has been a member of our LEG for years, and so we know that there is this issue with the young people leaving the children's home, and then that we know that there are problems that they are facing after they leave the children's home. And so yes, this project One Step Ahead finished this August 2019, but there's a new one starting in January 2020. And there's going to be a bigger team, more social workers, and they're going to be working not only with children's for all or young people from the children's home, but also with all the other excluded people from the community, from our LEG. And in this project, One Step Ahead, there were 53 kids involved. Even the small ones, there were summer camps for the small ones, and it was for 2 weeks. They were shown the real situation, the real life situation, and how to solve problems, how to face the threats. And there were those 8 older young people who are about to leave the children's home, and they had more workshops and lessons during those 18 months. And so they had workshops about cooking, about household economy, about financial system and check, about the insurance, social welfare, and traveling, and all those things. Plus, as you saw, Christian, he's studying to being a mechanic, and so he had an internship in a farm, and so he saw how the workplace works and how to communicate with a boss, how to communicate with colleagues, you know. And also there were other kids. For example, there was a girl studying a high school of economy, so she got an internship in a municipality mayor's office, who showed her the village economy and the accountants. Also, there are students studying to being cooks or servers, so they had internships in a local brewery and also in a local restaurants, just to see how it really works in real life.
Great. And my other question is, do you think it would be possible to do similar projects without a local action group? Do you think it's important to use ESF through the CLLD?
Oh yeah, indeed. We wouldn't be able to make such a project without ESF and CLLD.
And also I see here the Christian. I'm thinking to ask him a question, but it's against the rules probably. My last question, you were speaking already about the follow-up project. So what other project in this area are you planning in the local action group?
Well, there's this one project that starts in January. That's a big one. And I think that now we are mainly focusing on this one.
Radim, well done. Thank you very much. Mr. Charles, do you have any questions for any of our guests on the platform?
Yes, on the project. I don't know, do you prefer in French or... J'aimerais savoir sur votre projet. Bon, j'ai vu dans ce que vous avez fait, dans ce cas, il y a une dimension sociale et aussi une dimension climatique. Compte tenu de votre expérience, Est-ce que vous pensez qu'on peut approcher le changement climatique, lutte contre le changement climatique à partir de petits projets comme ça? Est-ce que vous voyez l'efficacité et comment, de quelle manière? Et une deuxième question, de manière plus large, compte tenu de votre expérience, de votre association, si vous aurez la possibilité de changer quelque chose dans ces programmes, dans leur façon d'agir sur le terrain, qu'est-ce que vous changerez? Qu'est-ce qui vous aiderait d'être encore plus efficace et plus adapté aux besoins du terrain?
Alors pour commencer, sur l'aspect, combiner l'aspect social et environnemental, la base du projet, c'était d'aider les gens en précarité énergétique, c'est-à-dire qui ne parviennent pas à payer eux-mêmes leurs factures d'énergie pour se chauffer, pour s'éclairer. Donc l'argent qu'on dépensait à payer les factures partait vraiment dans des grandes entreprises énergétiques, fournisseurs d'énergie. On a essayé de voir comment favoriser ce que les gens, en travaillant par eux-mêmes les uns avec les autres, arrivent à réduire la consommation, c'est-à-dire augmenter l'isolation du logement, faire un bâti plus adapté avec des ressources locales. Et la main-d'œuvre qu'on utilise, à la fois bénévole, le coup de main de tous les voisins, a permis d'économiser sur les chantiers qu'on appelle participatifs. Donc il y a un professionnel qui encadre, donc c'est fait dans des règles de l'art. Et tout le monde y travaille. Donc on réduit avec ce travail-là, des matériaux de filière courte. Ça permet vraiment de réduire la consommation d'énergie ensuite dans le logement. Donc l'aspect social était de réduire le coût des factures. L'aspect environnemental a été d'utiliser l'énergie pendant les travaux, mais pas de gaspiller l'énergie après en vivant dans le logement. Donc c'est cette combinaison-là qui en plus nous a fait découvrir que le fait de travailler ensemble dans sa propre maison, avec les voisins, avec des personnes qu'on ne connaît pas, qui viennent donner un coup de main, a développé aussi toute une forme d'échange, de reconnaissance les uns avec les autres, et multiplie comme ça un chantier, 10 personnes qui interviennent sur un chantier peut provoquer 5-6 autres chantiers. Donc on réduit l'impact environnemental chez plusieurs personnes au fur et à mesure comme ça. Donc les fournisseurs d'énergie sont peut-être pas forcément d'accord à ce que ça se développe indéfiniment, mais on réduit vraiment la consommation des logements pour de plus en plus de personnes. Voilà pour l'aspect social et environnemental. Après, la difficulté qu'on peut rencontrer, nous, pour savoir où on intervient et trouver avec la personne ce dont elle a besoin et de quoi elle dispose, ça demande beaucoup de temps au départ, d'accompagnement, d'écoute, de rencontre. Donc c'est ce temps-là en fait qui n'est pas, on économise au niveau des artisans de la main-d'œuvre après sur le chantier, mais ce coût-là de préparation nous demande beaucoup un certain financement pour le temps de présence auprès des personnes bénéficiaires. Alors c'est là qu'il faut trouver de quoi payer les salaires des personnes qui rentrent et ça. On a commencé tout petit avec une seule personne qui allait à la rencontre et puis préparait tout le chantier, etc. Maintenant, on est à 5 personnes, donc les choses peuvent aller de plus en plus vite. On faisait un chantier sur 4 mois au tout début. Maintenant, on peut faire 2 chantiers par mois. Voilà. Donc les intervenants, les acteurs locaux nous permettent justement de trouver un peu de financement pour aller vers les gens qui en ont le plus besoin. D'autres viennent d'eux-mêmes, donc ça, on est de moins en moins dépendant, mais encore un petit peu.
Merci. Can I have another question to you on this project in Spain? I understood. I was impressed to see that, how to say, a simple person with a small family business had access to such a project by your intermediate. Can you tell us a little bit more about your organization? How do you find these kind of beneficiaries? How do you identify them? And what kind of other projects did you supported through FLAG program?
Bueno, en principio a mí no me gusta hablar de lo que el FLAG puede hacer por el sector pesquero, porque considero que el FLAG es sector pesquero, el sector pesquero es parte del FLAG, o sea que lo que hacemos desde el FLAG lo hacen ellos mismos por sí mismos. Un poco las mariscadoras, la asociación, estaban pidiendo a gritos darse a visibilizar, darse a ver, darse a conocer, pero no te lo decían, no tenían la manera de hacerte llegar eso. Pero esta asociación, hemos visto en el vídeo, trabajan de una manera tradicional, respetan el producto, cuidan la zona en la que trabajan. Tienen interés, que es fundamental tener interés. Fueron de las primeras asociadas al GAL, se apuntaron, querían ver qué era eso, cómo funcionaba y sobre todo querían un poco lo que era ver y decidir lo que se hacía en su territorio. En esa zona de Galicia existía iniciativa líder, pero no llegaba al mar. Siempre el sector del mar decía que no se sentían representados en el líder, que nadie les preguntaba qué podían hacer. Desde que tienen el FLAG tienen una idea, tienen una esperanza, tienen una ilusión de que ellos son actores principales, que ellos también pueden decidir lo que quieren hacer. ¿Cómo llegamos a los proyectos? Pues hay veces que es dificultoso. Muchas veces tomando cafés, pero cafés en las casas de los potenciales promotores, yendo puerta a puerta, hablando con unos, hablando con otros, reuniéndonos. Muchas veces hay gente que puede pensar que estamos de vacaciones porque estamos en la terraza de un bar, una cafetería, pero igual estamos hablando con el patrón de una cofradía, con una mariscadora. Bueno, Julia, la protagonista, yo creo que he tomado más cafés en su casa que en la mía. Trabajamos mucho de una manera muy conjunta. Entonces, un poco la manera que tenemos de trabajar y de llegar al sector y de involucrarle y de participar es esa, puerta a puerta, hablando con unos. Es difícil, sí que es verdad. Al principio cuesta un poco entrar. Eso sí, una vez que te abren las puertas, las tienes abiertas de por vida. Proyectos, tenemos este de las mariscadoras, que tienen mucho valor, pero también hemos abierto un abanico de proyectos que van desde artesanía. Tenemos unas rederas que hacen productos de artesanía bajo un amparo de marca de calidad de artesanía. Tenemos proyectos de innovación con un promotor joven que se dedica a obtener aceite rico de omega 3 de un cultivo de microalgas. Bueno, son proyectos que inicialmente en el territorio serían impensables. No es un territorio excesivamente dado a la investigación y el desarrollo, pero creo que podemos ir haciendo pequeñas cosas. Tenemos una asociación de discapacitados que arregla cajas de pescado de plástico. Volvemos a la economía circular, intentamos trabajar con ellos. No tienen por qué tirar los restos de plásticos o las cajas o los contenedores cada vez que se rompen. Hay una alternativa. Todo esto nos permite acercar un poco la economía al sector del mar a la economía del territorio y un poco entre todos intentar desarrollar el territorio de una manera más eficaz y coherente para todos los que allí viven.
Thank you. Yes, now I understood why to make coffee eligible in the projects is important.
No more questions? I'd like to ask you all the same question. Is this, what we've seen what you're capable of doing and the ingenuity of your plans and the help you give, is it an ongoing process? You've just touched, Guillermo, you just spoke a little bit about the contacts you make and how you're going around knocking on doors and having coffee. But I just wondered for all of you, do you just go from one project to project endlessly? Or how does it, I'm fascinated by the the communications thing, how news gets around, and whether that gives you automatic work for the rest of your life if you want it. And frankly, how do you find sufficient people who genuinely, I'm sure they would love to do it, but have genuinely got the time to put into these things? It seems amazing that you can do this kind of thing. So as I say, just how do you keep up the momentum is what I'm asking, really. Christian, perhaps you could start.
I just want to make it clear that regarding the Falkenberg Food Festival, the grant was a one-time thing. It was just to kickstart it. Since then, the festival is sustainable, by its financing itself from local companies, and by a percentage of the turnover that the individual companies sell during the day. So the financial thing was just for one.
You're saving Europe money by being sustainable so quickly.
Yeah.
That's what you're saying. Well, it's a proud boast. Very.
I mean, we should look at Martin. He and the entrepreneurs are the ones paying for the festival. But I think, they're also developing their companies. So I'm not quite sure about the numbers, but I think from year one, they were serving about 600 portions, I think. And now we're up to 2,000 portions for their company during the festival. So it's 4 times development. So
okay. Frederic, your housing project with Jean. Just give us an idea of what happens after that, because how many houses have you been involved in doing the same kind of work? And is it, as I say, is it a permanent future for you?
Alors le nombre de personnes, d'habitants de maisons ayant bénéficié, on est arrivé à 145 au dernier recensement qu'on avait. Personnes qui ont eu des travaux, ça fait en nombre de chantiers, puisque les maisons ne sont pas seules, les personnes ne sont pas seules dans les maisons, on est à 90 à l'horizon de 9 ans. Donc pour l'instant, on est parti tout doucement, ça accélère. Donc oui, on espère continuer à accélérer comme ça. D'ailleurs, j'entendais monsieur parler d'Erasmus. NRTR a aussi bénéficié d'une vitrine de promotion par Erasmus+, pour organiser, être un peu une espèce de modèle sur la construction avec les matériaux locaux dans d'autres pays. Donc la Grèce, l'Italie et l'Espagne nous rejoignent, enfin on se rejoint les uns chez les autres, c'est l'intérêt des maisons, pour savoir comment on peut développer des projets locaux comme ça, les uns avec les autres. Donc si d'autres pays souhaitent se joindre à la réflexion et donner de l'énergie, alors beaucoup de temps bénévole est consacré au chantier, à l'animation aussi de l'association. Donc ça prend du temps, il y a l'activité personnelle à côté. Donc, mais petit à petit, on régénère. Toutes les personnes qui ne donnent pas suite à des chantiers qu'on a fait chez eux sont assez rares en fait. Donc ça permet chacun a envie de retourner, de redonner ce dont il a bénéficié à quelqu'un d'autre. Voilà, Jeanne communique régulièrement son sourire à d'autres chantiers. Et puis, j'entendais Christian aussi parler. C'est vrai que le café, la nourriture et la maison, les enfants, c'est quand même des domaines assez précieux, très précieux dans la vie. Donc chacun y retrouve vraiment quelque chose qui l'anime.
So there's even a smile dividend from CLLD. Yeah. Daniela. Do you find this is ongoing as far as you're concerned, particularly as you're directly helping children?
Well, I hope so, because as we find out that this project affected, well, in my opinion, affected the younger generations, and they got to know that there's this issue, and they are willing to help. They are willing to show those kids as they are at the same age or almost the same age. They really want to help. Plus, the other people. Well, I mean that the whole community is really closed, and I mean not closed, but they are all really willing to help. And as those young people were having those internships, they got to know a lot of people from the community, and the community offered a lot of help, and the community knows that there's this one children's home in our region, and not only this project, but there are other initiatives that are being involved during the time with the children's home. So, yeah.
Okay, thank you very much for that. Christelle, could I encourage you to say a little bit more about the working group CLLD in Finland?
Oh yeah. Or could I actually ask one question more? Is it
it gets addictive, doesn't it? Yes, please do.
Good, because I thought that you are quite experienced project people here around me. So I want to ask you if do you think there is some which is the most important ingredient when you want to mix to a very good, successful CLLD project? Is it different in each project, or can there be seen some certain kind of pattern in the projects?
I don't really know the English word for it, but people with passion. If I would say a pattern, it would be enabling people with passion to step forward. And from my point of view, if we take the food festival, I'm not the one doing the food festival, but I'm the one maybe facilitating that people with passion meet, get them in a room together, and magic happens.
Well, I have to agree with Christian. I believe it's all about people with passion and people who really want to be involved and who really, believe in it.
Oui, la passion et la rencontre avec quelqu'un de passionné, le partage de cette petite idée qu'on a tout seul, à se dire face à ce problème, j'aurais besoin de faire comme ci ou faire comme ça, et puis d'en parler à quelqu'un qui rebondit sur cette idée et avec passion. Après, les opportunités, on les cherche et souvent on les trouve, pas toujours, il y a des idées qui restent dans les tiroirs, mais celles qui touchent chacune des personnes à qui on parle, elles aboutissent à quelque chose, enfin elles avancent et elles se transmettent, et souvent, parfois elles peuvent se transformer en quelque chose de très concret. Voilà, les enfants qui grandissent ailleurs, des maisons où les enfants grandissent aussi, plus adaptées à chacun. Et le fait d'être ensemble et nous on a quelque chose, on passe du temps. Habituellement, pour construire une maison, la main d'œuvre, c'est le coût du travail et c'est ce qui coûte cher, les matériaux aussi, mais on n'a pas des matériaux très coûteux, nous, pour travailler, et on arrive tous ensemble, et le temps qu'on passe ensemble devient quelque chose d'enrichissant. Au lieu de coûter de l'argent, en fait, c'est le temps qu'on partage les uns avec les autres qui permet de continuer à avancer à chaque fois. Je ne sais pas si tous les projets peuvent avancer comme ça, mais NRTR nous a quand même bien démontré et bien récompensé pour ça. Oui.
Briefly, yeah.
Yo también estoy de acuerdo en que lo fundamental es la idea y la ilusión. Y después ya es trabajo del FLAG. Ahí es el asesorar, el acompañar, el guiar y el buscar la fórmula para que ese promotor o esa persona que tiene una idea la pueda llevar a cabo. Yo creo que ese es el trabajo de los grupos, es lo que nos diferencia un poco de otros tipos de ayudas o administraciones. Antes hablaba de que en Europa se conoce poco lo que se hace de la Comisión Europea, no le llega a la gente de a pie muchas veces. El sector pesquero es un sector cerrado, no tenía mucha comunicación con otros sectores. En Galicia es una zona periférica de Europa, muchas veces no llega bien lo que se hace aquí. Entonces yo creo que la labor del FLAG es esa, coger esas ideas, coger al promotor, ayudarle, acompañarle, guiarle hasta que el promotor pueda decirte, tengo listo el proyecto, lo voy a poner en marcha y lo voy a desarrollar. Antes hablaba de comunicación. Yo en mi grupo pues creo que hemos probado de todo. Los cafés también funcionaron, pero probamos de todo. Hicimos charlas informativas, pusimos anuncio en prensa, hicimos exposiciones de proyecto, trajimos a gente aquí a Bruselas. Y yo creo que es un poco de todo. Llega un momento en que la gente empieza a ver y empieza a oír hablar de los grupos, del FLAG, de su trabajo, y llega un momento que ya no tienes que preguntar dónde lo ha escuchado o cómo conoce al FLAG, sino ya que te van diciendo, no, si es que del FLAG habla todo el mundo. Imagino que unos bien y otros no tan bien, pero lo importante es que saben que estamos ahí. Entonces yo creo que bueno, somos un instrumento para poder ayudarles y guiarles para que desarrollen esa idea o ese proyecto que es el germen de todo esto.
Thank you very much. Christelle, a very quick word about your CLLD. Then I want to ask the three of you, Christelle.
Sorry, I got passionate also.
Yeah,
sorry, but
just
very
a brief
short.
word about it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, I actually want to share very shortly this best practice. We have in Finland a CLLD working group on national level, involves ministries that administrate the 4 funds, regional authorities, organizations. And I do think it has helped during this year. It has been running on to that we have quite the same vision what CLLD is. We have exchanged best practices, and I think we are better now when we are coming and preparing the next funding period. So we better know, we understand each other, what we mean when we are talking about CLLD, and we also we have some kind of an aim where we want to go together, and it's not an official. It's a voluntary group actually, which means. But I strongly recommend you to think that, because I think we have very good experience. You can ask me here later on.
Thank you very much. Before we finish the subject, could I just invite the real stars of the video? There were many, but the real stars of the video who are in the room to join us briefly on stage. If you're all here. Martin, Jean. Is Julia here? Come on. And Julia, no? It's difficult being a celebrity there. Thank you very, very much. Thanks a lot. Thank you. And thank you to the panel. Thanks very much indeed for all your contributions and helping us demonstrate the ongoing value of CLLD and the benefits it has. Thank you all. Thanks. Right. Now, of course you can. Yes, absolutely. Monica.
Hi.
Do take over. Monica from FarNet.
So before I get into practical announcements, I know that one reason why we had invited Radim Sørensen from the Committee of the Regions was because they brought out an opinion earlier this year on territorial measures, and in particular on CLLD. So I am afraid we're running out of time, but I did want to leave you just a couple of minutes to say some of the most important recommendations that the Committee of the Regions has come with. I know it will be interesting to quite a few people, just quickly.
Okay, so just the main key points. You can find the opinion in all 24 official languages. You can use it, of course, during your negotiations, because now there is very important time when the new programming period is being constructed. So first point, I always hear that mayors do not like LEADER and CLLD, and they are destroying it. You know, you see me, I am a mayor, I love CLLD. I have 2,000 other colleagues, mayors in the Czech Republic, who like CLLD. And in the Committee of Regions, there is 351 mayors of cities, usually municipalities and governors of the regions, who anonymously voted for this opinion. So 351 supporters as the voice of the regions supporting CLLD. Even those key points, I must say that we were quite afraid with Marion Eckhart, who was my expert, coming to ask for 10% compulsory earmarking from each fund for CLLD. Finally, there was compromise of 8%, but it was voted anonymously in favor. So 8% compulsory earmarking for CLLD from all funds. Then second important point, I call it LEADER as a human right. It means that every region in the European Union has a right to use all the funds in case it wants. If the region doesn't want to use all funds, so it doesn't need to, but there is a right to use all funds in all regions of the European Union. Also approved by anonymity. Another thing is very important, of course, comes to the simplification, because we are still speaking about simplification. It's like Yeti. Everyone is speaking about it and nobody has seen it, but we have seen first examples in Poland, in Estonia, in some other countries. So of course, simplification is needed. I hope that also our interventions during the state aid public consultation, where we ask to make exemption of LEADER from the state aid rules, would help to this in the future. Another important thing is LEADER back to the roots. I'm sure that those of you who have longer experience with LEADER, you could see that we are a little bit moving to be more bureaucracy than before. So we call it bureaucracy in a large. So this is very important. And finally, also, LEADER is a very important tool of development, and not just within the rural development, but also in the urban development, also in the regional development, and also beyond the borders of the European Union as a tool of development in neighborhood policy countries, accession countries, and also in Africa, etc., etc. Please use the opinion. I will finish with a very good tactic from my friend Stefan Niedermoser from Austria, who checked that the president of Tyrol is in the Committee of Regions. So he said, okay, great. So he was voting for 8% from all funds. So I am going to visit him and tell him, okay, you voted for 8% from all funds, so we need them in Tyrol. So this is a good tactic. Please use the opinion, and I hope there will be a great future for CLLD in the next programming period, because I feel that in this programming period, it was a little bit pilot. I think it was a little bit unfulfilled dream. We dreamed with Paul Soto making guidances 7 years ago, and finally it was not used as it should be used. So I hope we will use it much more in the next programming period.
Okay, so thank you very much. I'd just like to mention that any of these panelists who've, especially from the local level, I don't know if from the Committee of the Regions you can stay a little bit too, but they will be down on the FarNet stand now. So now is the next bit of the seminar, the conference, where you can actually go and visit 40 different projects, speak to the project promoters, speak to the lags and flags who supported them, and our panelists, where possible, will be for the next 30 minutes on the FarNet stand, where you can find them and ask questions. Otherwise, the exhibition's opening. We're going downstairs for coffee and the exhibition in the exhibition hall. Here we have 40 different projects. You'll see them all in your magazines that you will, hopefully you've picked up a magazine. Here you have the description of the different magazines, different clusters. You also have in your packs a map of the floor map, of where the different projects are, the different thematic clusters, so ranging from eating local to smart communities to inclusive communities. For those, so on each of the stands, each project will be presenting twice, and you will see that you can sign up on the stands. There's a piece of paper, there's slots for about 10 people per presentation, and you can sign up for those presentations, which will be starting every sort of half hour, 20 minutes. There'll be a new round of presentations. So go to those ones that are interesting to you. If you don't speak English, we've actually got special walking tours in 17 different languages, okay? So starting at 3:30, again, look at your little leaflet. Starting at 3:30, you have the first round of languages leaving: Romanian, Polish, Bulgarian, Italian, Swedish, German, Slovenian, and Lithuanian. At 3:30, go to the cooperation corner of the exhibition. Again, it's on the map. Go there and you'll find somebody with a banner with your language, and they're going to take you around some of the stands and help you with the language to ask questions if you want. And at 4:30, the rest of the languages are leaving from the same place. Okay? So do make the most of that opportunity. At the same time, if you want to go to any presentation generally, we also have interpreters who will be hanging around near the FarNet stand as well. So you can actually go and get an interpreter yourself and take them with you. Okay? I think those are the most important things about the exhibition. So the exhibition's starting now. It goes on till 5:30. There's also a photo booth. We encourage you to take photos of yourself. We'll be doing some nice decoration with your photos. And there's also a video corner made up of the videos that you sent in. So we've received a whole load of videos from you. Too many to show all of them, but we've done a nice selection. Please enjoy those videos. Okay, so to recap. Presentation sign up, please. 17 language walking tours. And you might have noticed in your packs, you have, I hope you haven't thrown them away, thinking they're rubbish. We spent a long time collecting plastic bottle caps, in particular our team leader, who's spent a lot of time going through his neighbours' recycling bins. So here we have special project awards of the 40 projects, and we would like you to vote. So the white cap in your bag is for the best project strengthening the local economy. The red cap is for the best project building social capital. The blue cap, the best project, I don't know why it's blue, it should have been green, but we had more blue caps than green ones, supporting the ecological transition. And the beer cap, I think that was Arthur who drank the most beer to get all those beer caps. The project with the best use of the CLLD method. So that's when we think of CLLD, the emotion that we were talking about today, the best CLLD method, bottom up, that's for the beer cap. We also have, so what you actually have to do with those is so again, we've tried to, as one of the themes of this seminar is ecological transition, we've tried to not produce new stuff. We've been collecting things that can be recycled, including plastic bottles, and that's where you're going to vote. You're going to put the red one in the red, etc., etc. These are on the stands, you'll see them. Okay, and also these bottle caps, at the end of the day, they're going to an association who uses them, who sells them on to be recycled, and with that money, they donate that for people with wheelchairs. Okay, and finally, so that's what you do with those. There's also a grand jury prize, so we have one of the members of each of the 4 DGs who will be scrutinizing the projects and deciding for them which one best represents a model for change, which one is sustainable, innovative, but also can be transferred and scaled up. So I think that is everything. Voting will close at 5:15, so you can start voting as soon as you've visited the exhibition. You can start voting. It finishes at 5:15. The award ceremony, and we'll have the European Commissioner, who is surprise appearance today instead of tomorrow. He didn't want to miss the exhibition. Will be at the award ceremony to give out the prizes. That starts at 6 o'clock, followed by dinner, and cooperation corner. So again, you'll have all received an email about cooperation. Lots of you have sent in ideas of themes you want to cooperate around. Those we've collected. We'll be at the cooperation corner trying to match you and help you find partners to sit down and discuss over dinner. So you can fill up your plates, come to the cooperation corner and discuss projects, okay? I think that's everything. One very important announcement is to please leave your headsets here. Apparently we lost 4 this morning. They're very expensive. So please leave your headsets with the staff just outside and enjoy the exhibition.